Yo, what up? Mrs. Z Nation, aka Savage Harmon Joe Giraffe. Welcome to another episode of Deck Building Wednesday. Yes, I'm switching it between Tuesday and Wednesday. It's whichever one comes out first. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about Nociel, a Protect 2 version of Nociel that's being used in Standard. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it isn't like too much of an original idea because I have seen a couple of Protect 2 builds that it doesn't use something similar to what I'm about to show you today, but I think this actually requires a backstory as to why I'm using Protect 2. So, earlier this year we came out with the Mahalik support, and it's based around Protect 2. But I also feel like that one of the things that Mahalik, in my honest opinion, didn't really do so well was generating markers. I honestly feel like that the fact that he didn't generate markers, but the support around him required you to have multiple protect markers on the field basically says something. Honestly, you got to remember that Protect 2 is the worst marker in the game. Like, I still want to make that video around why I feel, my personal opinion on each marker. But Protect 2 is obviously the worst because Protect 2 doesn't give you resist. Now, the support for Mahalik gives, like, the support cards resist, which is actually pretty good. But I feel like the marker in general should have been, it should have had resist. So, No Seal, in my personal opinion, fixed that because you had a grade 3 that allows you to search off for certain cards that is in this deck at 1. Um, it allows you to search out for certain cards, and you can only search out from within the top 7, and you can only get a cards up to the number of protect markers you had on the field. The second one is you had the grade 2 that allowed you to prevent your opponent from using sentinels if you had 3 or more protect markers on the field. And then of course there's a grade 1 that allows you to intercept from the back row, but yeah, that's just me. Anyway, the point is, No Seal makes multiple markers per turn. It makes 2 markers per turn, which basically accelerates what the Mahalik support should have been doing. And that's the reason why I came up with this build today. So, I did enough talking. Without further ado, let's start looking at some of this support, starting with the grade 0s, obviously. So, of course, we have our wonderful starter. The starter could be anything, it doesn't really matter. But today's trigger lineup we're going with is 8 criticals, 4 heals, and 4 draws. The draws have to be the draw trigger PG. It has to be because it has No Seal in his name, which this was originally the grade 1 No Seal in the original version of Vanguard, but it has to have No Seal in his name. This whole deck is based around having No Seal in their name as well. And at the end of the day, it is a draw trigger PG, and obviously you're going to be using Protect 2, so you need some type of PGs in hand. So that's the thing. Yes, at the moment, these are pretty expensive, especially seeing how Gabrielle is actually pretty good, and No Seal is arguably the best budget deck that you can play in the game, in my personal opinion. I know like a lot of people are saying that too though, but like that's just me. But you also gotta remember clan selection's coming out like in a couple of months from now. Like I think it's the beginning of February. I gotta look at the schedule again. But anyway, uh yeah, clan selection's coming out, and we are getting reprinted these as well as a couple of other cards. So if you can't afford them right now, at least wait until clan selection comes out. I'm not going to say that they're going to be like $1 now though, but they're going to be a lot more affordable around that time than they are right now, because you already know, like, we get power creep. This is good. This No Seal is good right now, but we don't know if it's going to be good like a month or 2 from now. So that's just me. But anyway, if you want to, you could replace one of the criticals for another draw, just in case you're not comfortable with the draw power that this deck has. And then last but not least, because we are playing No Seal, we're going to be playing 4 Happy Build No Seals, which was originally the stand trigger and the original thing. So basically, is on the damage zone, this card has the ability to give during your turn your whole front row 5k. This is per card, so it does stack. As long as you have a no seal Vanguard. At the same, like, it does stack, and it doesn't matter if like your rear guards have no seal or not. It gives the whole front row 5k during your turn. So the whole goal is you're supposed to get this in the damage zone face up, of course, and you're supposed to have at least 3 of them. Like, you don't have to have all 4 of them in there. Like, if you get all 4 of them, more power to you. But like, at least at minimum get 2. You definitely want to get 3, but minimum 2. The exploitation is 3, and more power to you if you can get all 4. That's basically how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to do this in a timely manner too. So by the time you get to your grade 3 turn, you should have at least 2 in there. Of course, maybe searching out for the 3rd one, and of course the 4th one as well. Now, obviously, these are grade 0, so that means it does take up some slots, but it's still pretty worth it regardless. That's it for the grade 0s. Now for the grade 1s. For Black Call Nakiri, I think that's how you say her name. So this is obviously the grade 3 searcher, which is the reason why we went in at 4. I love this art a lot better than the original art, but anyway. His other ability, his 5k gain ability, happens once something goes to the damage zone. As long as you put something in the damage zone and take something out the damage zone or whatever, she gets 5k for the turn. All you have to do it is once, and it'll instantly activate. Pretty simple and pretty good at the same time as well. Then we are running 3 Syringe Lessers, aka a Gretzko. If she was like a nurse, I don't know. But anyway, it's pretty simple. It's a rear guard skill that you put into your soul, and you can give a unit 3k. Basically like Bargo without it being a draw trigger, I guess. Anyway, the reason why you run these is because both no seals requires a shit ton of soul blasting. One of them soul blasts once, the other one soul blasts twice. And then you also have the grade 2 no seal that also soul blasts as well. So this is going to be a very soul blast heavy deck, and you need something to replenish soul at any given possible time. So this is why this card exists. Yes, a 3k is not really going to matter that much in the late game, but the fact of the matter is you need soul, and this is basically the way to get it. This is like basically your soul charger, I guess, if you really think about it. At the same particular time, the reason why we're not running this at 4 is because it's obviously 7k, and because we're running 4 of these, which takes up a lot of slot space, we don't really have much to work with, so obviously we're running this at 3. Next up is one of the searcher cards that you can search for this, Secto Angel. So she's in the same, this is one of the Mahalik support, so if she's in the same column as a protect marker, she's able to intercept, and she also has resist, which is actually pretty good. Not to mention that if you put like a protect 2 marker in the back row and put her on it, that means that's a 20k like blocker right then and there, which is actually pretty good. It could be searched out. I'll get to that card in a little bit when we get to our grade 3 lineup. And like, again, this is pretty good. And again, because we're running this, we don't really have enough room to run a full play set, so it does kind of defeat the purpose though, but it's actually pretty interesting at the end of the day. Last but not least is a controversial card in a way, but it's still pretty good. It's called Multi-Medical Angel. We are running this at 2. So basically, whenever a card is put to the damage zone while this is on the rear guard circle, you put it to the bottom of your deck, you draw 2 cards, and you discard 1. This is a little bit of a draw engine, which is pretty good. We're going to be manipulating the damage zone pretty often, with this deck, so there is a decent reason to run him. But I guess like the controversial reason to run him is I don't know if this is like worth the space of running him in the deck or not. I'm not saying like replace him like the other two like angels right here, but at the same time, is it really worth running this in the deck? Like I've tested it out. It works completely fine, especially during your opponent's turn, like early game. Like, okay, if I'm at my grade one turn, I run like let's say Nahiri, and then I put this in the back row. My opponent attacks me. I take the damage, and I could just use his ability to go put it back into the deck and draw two cards and discard one. I mean, it's pretty cheesy. It's a very cheesy card, but I love the card because it's pretty interesting at the same time. So yeah, we're running this at 2. So grade 1 lineup, 4 grade 3 searchers, 3 Agretzko, 2 multi-attack angels, and 2 Sergio angels. So that's our grade 1 lineup right then and there. Now on to our grade 2 lineup. We're absolutely running Love Machine Gun Nociel. She has an interesting ability, so both on Vanguard and Rear Guard Circle, you counterblast one, soul blast one whenever you place her. You search your deck for a no seal card, searching for this, you put it into the damage zone, shuffle your deck, and then obviously choose a card from your damage zone and put it to your hand. So not only you get to recover something, but you also get to set up for these particular no seal cards right here, which is the reason why I say going to be, if you ride this into your Vanguard circle, you're obviously gonna get that 5k right then and there. So this is gonna be swinging for like 14 on your like grade 2 turn without like boosters and whatnot. So this card's actually pretty interesting. I'm even seeing people running this in like regular Gabrielle too, which is actually pretty bonkers though, but it's hilarious at the same time. But anyway, next up for our grade 2 amputation angel. This is our other protect 2 card. So if I have a protect marker in the same columns as unit, it gets PLAR plus 15. So if you put it on the protect 2 marker, she's going to be 29k base, and this is continuous on both your opponent's turn and in your turn. And then obviously she has, oh yeah, she doesn't have resist. That's actually pretty funny. During the battle that it attacked, if your opponent has 3 or more protect markers, if you have 3 or more protect markers, your opponent cannot call sentinels from his or her hand. So that's basically another reason why you're running this card. The first one, the grade 1 has resist, and this one doesn't. I kind of like low-key forgot about that. But anyway, basically you're running this particular card. She's gonna be like 15k base as long as you're on the same column as the protect marker. If she's on the protect marker, she's gonna be 29. Put it with these, with 2 of these at least, is gonna be 39. And your opponent cannot call sentinels when she attacks, which is actually pretty interesting in my honest opinion. Like I said, Mahalik didn't really generate markers, so it kind of sort of made it to where she was very late game. But like, again, we're in a format at the moment where people can't even really make it to grade 3, so it kind of makes it almost near impossible to use her second ability, which is why you're rarely going to see it. But because we're making at least 2 protect markers a turn with the no-seal engine, this makes it a lot easier to use her second ability, which is the reason why I'm using her in the deck in the first place. Last but not least, we're using, I'm trying to read the name of this card, Black Aculus Japico, I think that's how you say her name. Yeah, this one, the triple rare from the set. Japico, I think that's how you say her name. I know I'm butchering it, but anyway, what Japico does is when you place her, you counterblast one, she gains plus 3k. You choose a card from your damage zone, put it to your hand, and then you deal yourself 1 damage. So it's like a mini rescue check card, which is pretty interesting. And obviously, you won't be able to filter out getting your Love Bell no seal into the thing, though. But it does help you get certain cards that you need from the damage zone into your hand. So that's a good thing as well. At the same time, if you want to, um, you could run this at 3. The next card that I'm going to call out is very optional. If you don't feel comfortable running the next card I'm going to be talking about, then obviously take that out and put one more of her in there. But I thought this was pretty good because, like, yes, it nets you cards from your damage zone though, but it doesn't filter out. And I feel like because No Seal is so, um, because I feel like No Seal is very strict as far as um having no seals cards with no seal in their name into the damage zone, it kind of makes the whole filtering thing a little bit not worth it. But at the same time, like I said, it gets stuff into your hand, so it's kind of sort of worth it in a way. But yeah, that's the grade 2 lineup. 4 no seals, 3 amputation angel, 2 jackable, possible 3, depending on how you want to do it. Last but not least, we're going to our grade 3s. This next one is very controversial, which is like I said, if you don't like it, then just replace it with another Japico. Pesticide Chef Jail. I think that's how you say it. Jail. I think that's how you say her. But anyway, basically, when she's placed from hand, you counterblast 1. Search your deck. Look at the top 7 cards and search out for either herself, Amputation Angel, or Septical Angel. Wait, wrong one. That's the Great Zero Pile. Or Septical Angel. So you basically search out for either one of these. Obviously, since you're only playing one of her, you're basically just going to be searching out for 2 of these. Deck thinning equals deck winning, people. And then you can put into your hand, but you can only do it for each protect marker you have on the field. So this is basically, if you didn't kill your opponent off on your first grade 3 ride and you survive your opponent, this is the next card to go into. Obviously not on the Vanguard circle, but on the Rearguard circle, you'll have like at least 2 protect markers, possible 3 of you ride into another no seal. And then you look at the top 7 and the hope that you have at least 1 or 2 of these to search out for. I wanted to run a third one of her really bad because then it'll make the search a lot easier. But like I said, I didn't really have enough room in my grade 1 lineup in order for me to do that because this is taking up so much space. So obviously I couldn't really do that even if I wanted to. But anyway, basically all she is a search card, and like I said, it's very controversial. So if you don't want to run her, then obviously replace her for another Jackal. That's basically how we're doing it. Then we're running a full play set of Love Sniper No Seal. Vanguard circle, you put the top card of you counterblast 1, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone, and take a card from your damage zone, put it to your hand. You can only use it once per turn. And then auto, at the end of the battle that it attack, you Soul Blast 1 and discard 2 cards. You ride a no seal onto the Vanguard circle. It can either be her or it can be the other one. And then you ride it. They gets minus drive for the turn. And you can only use it once. So basically, I was trying to figure out what that other text was. So yeah, you can only use it once because you already know earlier this year we had a little rough time playing with Riviere. And this is kind of sort of a Riviere skill, but obviously Bushiroad wanted to, Bushiroad wanted to balance it out so it can only be used once a turn. So even if you were to ride to another one, you couldn't use her second ability another time. Last but not least, you have Holy Syrup No Seal. So, you run into playset of this, of course. So, the first ability on the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, when you place her, you Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 no seal. Come looking at this card. Put it to your damage zone to shuffle your deck. put a card into your damage zone. At the end of the turn, you put a card from your damage zone onto the bottom of the deck. I'm gonna wait till I read the second ability. The second one is when it attacks, you Soul Blast one. If you have 3 or more face-up cards and no seal in their card name in your damage zone, stand one of your rear guards. And if you have 5 or more face-up cards and no seal in their card names in your damage zone, restand 2 rear guards instead of 1. Okay, so this first ability, read it correctly. It does say once you put a card into your damage zone, you only take it out at the end of the turn. So, if you're at 5 damage, do not use this skill. I'll repeat, do not use this skill if you're at 5 damage. Because you use the skill when you're at 5 damage, the game registers you at 6 damage and you're going to die. Unless you're playing premium. Because premium does have a card that allows you to you lose at 8 damage instead of 6, which is the reason why it says 5 or more, because there's a card in premium format that prevents you from dying at 6 damage and instead you die at 8 damage, which is pretty busted in my honest opinion, but it's whatever. But anyway, like I said, this is standard, so if you're at 5 damage, do not use that first ability. That second ability definitely comes in handy because you're able to restand a possibility of 2 cards from your thing. This is the reason why we have to run this particular card, because this is why we have to run this particular card, just in case it ends up in our damage zone. So, basically, she is the reason why your damage zone needs to be nothing but Nociel in her name. That's the reason why. You're basically trying to make it to where you have all 4 of these in there. If it's not possible, at least 2 or 3. And that's basically the reason why you're using this one. So, overall, this is basically like the deck profile for Protect 2, which, again, is not the best. Obviously, there's going to be a few cards that I'm missing that obviously isn't in this particular build. But this is honestly like, if you want to have something very cheesy, this build is the way to go. Otherwise, there are like other regular builds of Nociel that you can do. But for now, this has been Deck Building Wednesday. My name is Mr. Zoo Nation, aka Savage Armadillo and Giraffe, signing out. I am so happy to see Nociel in this game again, because that was my favorite Angel Feather card. But anyway, I'm out.